It's Johnny Jones, and I'm here at home, and today we're going to talk about what scanner you need and why you need it. So I went eBay shopping. I picked up two scanners to make this video. Yes, I am that freaking crazy. I will buy stuff to make videos with. This one cost $140. This was $10. Both great prices, by the way. If you go on Uniden.com, you're going to spend $100 on something similar to this one, and $3.99 or so on this one. Now, of course, this isn't the most advanced one. This is right under that. They have Trunk Tracker 5s out now and stuff. But I thought I'd make a video on what scanner that you need. Charles was asking me about that. And if you want to listen to some of your local frequencies, you still have fire and some emergency and air that'll, you can use one of these for, especially 2 meters. I like listening to 2 meters sometimes, just to hear about what they're talking about. The hams sometimes will talk about the antennas and stuff they have. This right here is perfect for you. You can get on eBay really cheap, and something like this is very similar to it. This actually scans higher than this one. This one stops at 470 megahertz, and this one goes to 512. But you can see the bands here. It's the same on this one. 10 meters, 6 meters, military, high band, federal government, 70 centimeter. So you can listen to quite a few different bands, and they're worth the price. I mean, right just a minute ago, I was listening to people talk on 2 meters about rabbit hunting with pneumatic weapons. Funny story. Did you know Lewis and Clark had an air rifle? Yep, it was a pneumatic rifle, which was hard to make that long ago. Anyways, that's pointless. That has nothing to do with this video. But let's say you wanted to listen to police. Well, the problem is police, most of them, especially in larger cities, have moved on to trunking. And trunking is something that I had to go deep into the web to explain to you. And believe me, it's huge. It's bigger than my mind, all right? Anyways, I wrote down some points here, and it's going to make a really long, goddamn boring-ass video, but we're just going to get into it, okay? Because whatever. Now, if you don't want to hear all this crap, the difference between a trunk system and the conventional method is that conventionally, people have to go to a channel on their own. They take channel 1, 2, and 3, and they just choose what channel they want to be on. With a trunk system, there is just a computer saying you're going to be on this channel, you're going to be on this channel, you're going to be on this channel because you're the medical team, and you're the medical team, and you need to go on this channel, and it'll switch back and forth for you. So, if you're fine with that explanation, you can skip all the rest of this. So, in the past, certain services, fire, police, medical, were assigned to specific frequencies. 2 counties had to use separate frequencies to avoid crosstalk. So you'd have someone on channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and you have to switch in between. But I think it would be easier for me to read this if I did it in an accent. Turn knob to channel 3 for local operator, etc. Channel 1's fire and ground units. Channel 2 is like fire chief. Channel 3 is like them services when you got a hurty leg. And since these channels were assigned to certain groups, some channels were backed up with calls, like medical hurty leg stuff, and then some channels were like not even be used at all, like they just sitting there listening and waiting, like when you're waiting on your mama to get out of the doctor. But then these channels were going on being unused, and they were like, hey, can't we use these channels? But they said no. Them's for the medical people, and we can't use them. So then, I went a little too much into my accent there. Let's do another accent. Remember, these contacts were simplex, so the channel could only. That's a terrible accent. Remember these. Anyways, we'll stop doing that and stop messing around. These contacts were simplex. So that's basically like CB radio, where you can't talk at the same time as the buddy you're trying to talk to, right? So you would have to switch to channel 3 and talk. Well, if channel 3 was crowded, you'd have to go to channel 4 and talk. And that became an issue because there was some channels, depending on what it was allocated to, like if it was emergency services, that would be in constant use. And then you'd have, fire, which, not as much use. Unless, I don't know, you freaking live where fires start all the time. Or, like animal catcher, something like that. The animal catcher, I mean, come on. That's got to have like 2 channels, right? So what they would do is they would have multiple channels for each group. So you'd have like, let's see, I put it over here. Boy, don't you love my videos. So you'd have medical, and that would be on, I have no idea what they would use, what mode, or narrow band FM or wide band, probably narrow, but anyways. So, you know, this is the idea. Channel 1 would be 450, 1050, and this would be 450, 1075. Channel 3, channel 2, channel 1, then you have fire, channel 1, channel 2, etc. I even said etc. Any change in these channels had to be discussed, and all radios would need reprogramming. So this is not something you just said like, yeah, we're just going to use this channel, because you couldn't do that. You had to change everything, and you had to make sure that you weren't stepping on anyone. There was no crosstalk. The same issue they have with repeaters today. Anyways, so if a fireman needs to contact medical service, he could switch over to one of the medical channels to request paramedics. Now, I wanted to talk about Trunk Tracker 3 versus 4 versus 5. Trunk Tracker is pretty complicated if you just look at the names, Trunk Tracker 4 and 5 and 3, and what does all that shit mean. And then it's telling you, you know, this is this wonderful new software, whatever. All it really means is when it comes to this trunking method, where they have basically a computer operator controlling what channels you're going to talk on. They use a different software for it, and every time you see a trunk tracker and it's got another bigger number, it's just taking into consideration more software. So it has more software decoders programmed into it. That's all it really means. Anyway, so what they did to get around all this is they had a computer which would allocate a channel that was empty to a specific talk group. Well, you'd have a radio with an ID in it, and that ID would basically be saw as, okay, this is the police radio. So when you get a call that's specifically for police, it will switch the police radio, all of the police radios in that talk group, to that frequency so it could hear that person's call or whatever. So the radios switch themselves. You don't set them on a specific channel. You have the operator, which is, of course, a computer, do that for you. So you'd have all the fire and medical and police talking to this, transmitting and receiving. It's sort of like a repeater, and it would assign channels based on what was free. So it works very efficiently, but it's a little more complicated. Well, let's be honest, it's a lot more complicated. Now, digital and analog trunking, that is something that I have a specific opinion about. If you pick up a digital trunking radio, like this one, this is digital, you are going to be able to pick up analog as well. But if you get an analog trunking scanner, you're not going to be able to pick up digital. So I would not go out of my way to buy an analog trunking system, because of the fact that they are still expensive. You know, you're looking at $90 to $100 on eBay, but they're still not as useful as a digital, which, you know, can use either mode. You can it can track analog and digital. With something like this, well, it's cheap. There's no trunking method at all, but I mean, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than $90, right? So I would go pick up a digital trunking scanner. The difference between a digital and analog trunking scanner is basically the transmit mode. When you're transmitting in digital, you're just changing your voice into 11011100011, whatever, to make up, of course, the data that the computer decodes to turn your transmission back into an audible signal. Of course, you know, analog is just like CB radio, AM and FM. It actually takes your voice and whether that's amplitude modulation or frequency modulation, just this might be too confusing for some people, right? Okay, digital uses numbers, analog uses voice. That's the best way I can explain it. Sometimes I get too ahead of myself and start going off on a tangent, and people were probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about here. Anyways, so long story short, I'd pick up a digital scanner, a digital trunking scanner if you want to listen to police, stuff like that, because analog trunking is starting to fall away. If you want to just listen to ham stuff, pick up one of these. Very easy. You can still get a few county police and stuff like services like that. Maybe the dog catcher or something like that. You can still get on these because it's a very simple process to use the standard way of doing things by just having channels that are allocated to whatever service is using them. It's a lot easier for smaller communities to do that. So you'll still get stuff on here. You'll still get some police, or it's usually, like I said, people talking about, catching a dog or something. But you can still get a few of those things. However, with this is a lot more complicated, but you're going to get pretty much everything. You're going to get a lot of modes. You're going to get all sorts of different cities. I mean, if you put an antenna on this, a big antenna, you're going to get lots of traffic all the time. The downside to that is the cost and the time you're going to spend learning about this thing, because you don't just learn how to program things. Trunking is completely different. With this one, you program a frequency. You look it up on your phone. Okay, here's the frequency. Let's put it in there. This one, you got to know a lot more than the frequency. A lot more than the frequency. So I would say if you're not wanting to put a lot of effort into the scanner that you get, then don't get this one. Just pick this one up. If you really want to know about police and what's going on in your community and all that, and bad boys, what you gonna do when they come, get this one. So, what else is there to talk about? Oh yeah, I like this one. Check this out. So this one, not only can I hear like FM radio, like I was listening to music earlier, but hello, 1 2 1 2, and I can't even hear myself. I got the volume down. That's because I got jump scared. These damn things will jump scare you. Hello, 1 2 3 audio. Now, of course, I'm on 38, and this is picking up on 37. That's because I'm so close to it. But if I go on 38, I'm actually way too loud, and it has feedback there. But anyways, so what else did I need to talk about? Let me think. I don't know. I'll come back. Give you some idea on how complicated this is. I haven't even read the manual. I just got this in yesterday. So let's see here. We'll go to menu, service option, scan option, system option. Let's go to scan option, conventional trunk. That's easy stuff. We'll go back. Service option, railroad, CB, red, air, marine, ham, TV broadcast, news, public safety, racing, special, chain search. Let's go chain search. Chain search, search range, delay, attenuator, tone data, record, auto store. Oh, auto store. I was for some reason thinking audio studio, that's this. And then we can go chain search on and off. Let's see. I was trying to show you guys how freaking complicated it could get. Steps, there we go. So you have every step that you could use. 50 kilohertz, 100 kilohertz, 25 kilohertz, etc. Alpha tag, which I'm not even going to guess what the hell that is. I mean, I remember reading some about it, but I got to do a lot more research. Here you have narrow band FM, wide band FM, FM, AM. Let's see, the range, enter lower search range, upper search range. It's pretty complicated, really. Like I said, there's a lot that you have to figure out here, a lot that you need to learn about. And just knowing that, what trunking isn't going to help you, because you have to learn about the IDs, there's tags, there's talk groups, there's all kinds of stuff. And then on top of that, you have these different modes. Oh, that's just a freaking birdie, I think. Birdie might be silent, I think, constantly. Anyways, let's turn that back on but keep it quiet. So there's so many different modes that they use for trunked systems that you have. Motorola, Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3, I believe. There's I think if you go on Wikipedia, there's like 20 different modes, and they all have some sort of little um, idiosyncrasies about them that needs to be taken into consideration when programming this thing. Uh, don't get me wrong, I enjoy radio, but I'm not a software guy. I don't find any interest in it. Um, my regret when I die will be that I don't know everything in the world about physics and radio, but it certainly won't be that I don't know everything about software, because I love simplex. I love the. I was picking up something there. I don't know what that was. Anyways, long story short, I love the intrinsic qualities of the physical things we have around us and the physical systems that we can make with that. And what they do naturally rather than what we can make them do with software and data. I just don't find it that interesting. But we're picking up something here. Sounds like police. We had a bad signal. That's digital. Yeah, that's poor quality. That's why this antenna is going to be changed. Anyways, in contrast, if you turn this one on, well, there's my private frequencies I can scan that I programmed in on my own. There's police, it'll scan that. Weather, it'll scan that, which we can't get anything right now. We don't have an antenna hooked up. Then we have marine and air, and you can go to certain bands. Let's see, and this will set the band that you're searching here. Oh, this does have 512. Okay, so this is the same. Okay, yep, 470 to 512. Okay, so that's the easiest thing in the world. You just hook this up, let it run. You'll hear a lot of ham guys on there. This, on the other hand, is a severe pain in the ass. I don't know what the deal with that is. I think we just have a poor link. I think that's what it's saying anyway. I think that's L. I think L and K is what would link something. Yeah, anyways. I'm a freaking dumbass, so I don't know. Anyways, this one is kind of like reading a book. You're going to have to read a book in form of the manual before you get one. And without further ado, let's go to the songs of the day. Today's songs are Chic, Le Freak. I'm sure most of you guys know this song, but if you haven't listened to it in a while, go to my playlist and listen to it. It's so funky, man. You just want to get down with it. I can't get by with saying that. Okay, and the next one is something that I wanted to share with you that you probably don't know about. It's a man named Unknown Hinson. Now, Unknown Hinson is a man from my state, North Carolina. He started out in the early 1990s having a TV show. I think it was called The Unknown Hinson Show. But he is a comedian slash guitar player. He's an incredibly good guitar player that comes up with a lot of original content, but sometimes he does some covers when he's live, and I wanted to share several songs with you. Now, Unknown Hinson is known as the Western Vampire, the troubadour, the king of country western troubadours, as he calls himself. This is his character. Stuart Baker is his name, but he's done this character for years and years and years now, and he's pretty much always in character. He's a goofball. If you know anything about Adult Swim Squidbillies, which I don't because I don't watch cartoons anymore, but lots of people my age watch cartoons now, and it's a sad world we live in. But he actually is a voice actor. This is a long-running program, by the way. He's a voice actor for one of the Squidbillies. Yeah, I'm sure I could tell you more if I knew more about it. But he also does a great cover of Little Wing. I mean, a wonderful cover of Little Wing. And Voodoo Child as well, but Little Wing is the only one that I could get decent audio on because they're all live performances. He does a lot of live performances here in North Carolina. And don't get me wrong, he is a comedian, but he is a wonderful guitar player, and he's not bad at singing actually either. But I guess ultimately I'm going to go ahead and add this one to my list. It's just Unknown Hinson's Little Wing version, and sometimes he calls it Little Wang. Yeah. And also this one here, which is Unknown Hinson Lingerie. Someone spelled this wrong. And of course they had to put anime in it, because I don't know why. But it don't pay attention to the animation. It's literally just a song, so I can't help that YouTube gives me this, okay? Please God, I can't help it. For all the things that the Japanese have gave us, wonderful radios, craftsmanship, Japanese prints, we get anime. That's what, I mean, come on. It's Johnny Jones. I'm here at home. And I'll see you later. Oh, God. Well, I touched her boobie.